Evelyn Wang was exhausted. Every morning, she juggled the demands of her small, failing laundromat, dealt with her disapproving IRS auditor, Deirdre Beauberdre, and navigated the complexities of her strained family life. Her husband, Waymond, was kind but weary. The love they once shared felt like it had slipped through their fingers, like water through a sieve. Evelyn couldn't even remember the last time she felt truly connected to him. She spent too much time focused on the laundromat's bills, and not enough time on her marriage or her daughter, Joy. Joy, their daughter, had been struggling. At 25, she was distant, often clashing with Evelyn, who could never quite understand her. Joy's tattoos, her attempts to bring her girlfriend, Becky, to a family dinner, and her desperate need for acceptance all seemed to set Evelyn on edge. She didn't know how to bridge the gap, or if she even could. But Waymond explained that they were in danger. The multiverse, a vast collection of infinite realities, was collapsing. He introduced Evelyn to the concept of verse jumping, the ability to tap into the experiences, skills, and memories of other versions of oneself from alternate universes. It was not something anyone could do easily. It required making bizarre, seemingly random choices, like eating a chapstick or listening to a specific song, before unlocking the skill or knowledge of another Evelyn from a different universe. And then, Waymond told her about Jobu Tupaki, a being wreaking havoc across the multiverse. Jobu Tupaki was an alternate version of their daughter Joy, but this version had grown so powerful, so fractured by the infinite possibilities, that she was no longer the girl Evelyn knew. Instead, she had become nihilistic, believing that nothing mattered. If Jobu Tupaki wasn't stopped, the entire multiverse would collapse. Evelyn didn't believe him at first. But when she tried to jump to a new version of herself, when she ate a chapstick and suddenly found herself as a world-famous movie star in a reality where she had pursued acting, she understood that Waymond was telling the truth. Evelyn, now thrust into the heart of a multiverse full of infinite versions of herself, began jumping from universe to universe. In some, she was a successful businesswoman. In others, she was a martial artist. There was one universe where she was a rock, another where she had never moved to America and was a famous Chinese opera singer. But each universe brought Evelyn closer to the truth about Jobu Tupaki. She discovered that Joy, in her endless experience of living millions of lives across infinite universes, had become lost. The weight of seeing so many possibilities had overwhelmed her, and now, she had embraced a philosophy of nihilism, believing that nothing in life mattered because it was all so fleeting and inconsequential. This philosophy had given Jobu Tupaki the power to manipulate the multiverse in terrifying ways. In a series of intense and chaotic encounters, Evelyn faced off with Jobu Tupaki, whose powers were almost godlike. Jobu Tupaki could twist realities, turning objects into portals to other dimensions, manipulating matter, and even collapsing entire universes. At the same time, Jobu Tupaki, in her fractured state, was deeply sad, disillusioned, and desperate to find someone who could understand her. As Evelyn traveled through different versions of herself, she began to confront more than just the multiverse's physical chaos. She had to face the emotional wounds of her own life. Her relationship with Waymond had been fraught with misunderstanding and neglect. In some universes, Evelyn saw how different choices could have led to a happy, fulfilled marriage. In others, she saw how her neglect had torn their connection apart. She realized that Waymond's unwavering kindness, patience, and love were the only things that had kept their family from falling apart. But the hardest confrontation came with her daughter. The deep divide between Evelyn and Joy was painfully clear. Evelyn had always been critical of Joy, disapproving of her lifestyle and choices. She didn't understand why Joy had turned out the way she did, why she couldn't just be more like the person Evelyn wanted her to be. But in the multiverse, Evelyn saw the depth of her own failures. She saw how her own trauma had been passed down to Joy, how her lack of understanding and love had created a gulf between them. In one universe, Evelyn saw what Joy could have been if she hadn't been so constrained by her mother's expectations. In another, she saw what she herself might have become if she had embraced a different path, one where she didn't run away from love and connection. It was in these painful reflections that Evelyn began to realize that the key to stopping Jobu Tupaki, to saving the multiverse, and to healing her own broken family, lay in understanding the value of love. Love was the thread that could hold everything together. The final battle between Evelyn and Jobu Tupaki wasn't a fight of violence or strength, it was a battle of ideas, of philosophies. Jobu Tupaki wanted to show Evelyn that nothing mattered. She wanted to pull her mother into the abyss of nihilism, to convince her that there was no point in trying, no point in anything, but Evelyn didn't give in. She realized that even in the chaos of infinite possibilities, meaning wasn't something that could be found, it was something you created. Life could feel overwhelming, confusing, and painful, but in the relationships you formed, in the choices you made, in the love you gave, you could find purpose. In a moment of pure emotional clarity, Evelyn reached out to Joy, not as a mother who wanted to control her, but as a woman who understood her pain. She embraced Joy's struggle and chose to love her, despite their differences, despite the mistakes of the past. She made a choice to find meaning, not through grand gestures, but through connection, acceptance, and love. In that moment, Jobu Tupaki, seeing the love and understanding Evelyn offered, let go of her nihilism. She allowed herself to be vulnerable, to see that there was a way out of the endless spiral of despair. Together, mother and daughter broke the cycle of pain and misunderstanding. The multiverse was saved, not through violence, but through compassion and understanding. Evelyn's world was still imperfect, still messy, but it was hers. She returned to her laundromat, to her life, but now with a new sense of purpose. She wasn't the same Evelyn anymore. She had grown, healed, and found meaning in the love of her family. She reconciled with Waymond, understanding him for the first time in a deep, authentic way. She began to connect with Joy, seeing her not as a disappointment but as a person in need of acceptance. Together, they healed the wounds of the past, and in the end, Evelyn realized that while the multiverse might be infinite, it was the people we love and the choices we make that give our lives meaning. Even in a world full of chaos and uncertainty, love was the only thing that made everything worthwhile. Everything Everywhere All at Once is a story about identity, family, love, and finding meaning in the face of overwhelming uncertainty. Through Evelyn's journey across the multiverse, the film explores the complexities of existence, the weight of generational trauma, and the profound impact of love and connection. In the end, the film asks the question, how do we navigate a world that sometimes feels pointless? The answer, it seems, lies in choosing to love, to care, and to find meaning through our relationships with others. Thanks for watching.